Okay, hello. My name is Bob Starling. I'm your moderator and host for today's AEE chapter webinar. Welcome. Thank you for joining with us today. We've got a great program today from CWEEL. We're going to hear some wonderful information from them. But before we get started, we're going to hear first from Elizabeth Sierra from AEE headquarters. Elizabeth, take it over.
All right, hello everybody. I think I might wait just a little bit to see if there's any more joining us here. Do you see it? Okay, but I'll go ahead and start. So hello everybody, I'm Elizabeth. I'm the member engagement specialist here at AEE, and I wanted to go ahead and start with some updates. As you all may know, this year is the AEE's 45th anniversary, and one of the promotions we're doing to grow our membership is giving out a 45% discount for all new members. This is great for colleagues or friends and who are thinking about joining, and this is a great time to do it. And that code for that is 45 years. We're also doing a promotion for chapter coupons, which is 50% off, and that's for all non-members. So if they're in your chapter and they're going to your chapter meetings and they're thinking about joining, this is a great time to do it. There's a 50% discount for that, and that is chapter 50. At AEE World, which is September 21st to the 23rd in Atlanta, we'll hold our annual chapter leadership meeting. And chapter recognition awards are on Tuesday, September 20th. That's open to all chapter officers and all members. And then last thing, the AEE membership committee members would like to attend your chapter meetings and present on member retention and member recruitment tips. So if any of your chapters are interested, please send Mel or me details about your chapter meeting and your dates, and then we can get that all set up for you. And then today we'll be hearing from Hadass Webb from CWEEL, also Deb Lenny from CWEEL, and then Mel, from our membership director at AE. So I'll go ahead and pass it on to Hadass.
Thank you, Elizabeth. It's nice to see everyone today. Give me one moment and I will share my screen and then we can start talking. Can everyone see my presentation?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. So I'm here with Deb Lenny to talk about establishing a local CWEEL presence within your chapter region. I see some familiar faces here already. Some folks that I know are already familiar with CWEEL, but we're going to start from the very beginning for anyone that isn't quite familiar with CWEEL yet, and we'll be happy to answer questions at the end from folks that are new to CWEEL and also from people that have some experience with CWEEL but would like to know more. So we're going to talk about what is the CWEEL chapter lead, the CWEEL chapter liaison, and most importantly, why each of your chapters should have them. So my name is Hadass Webb. I am a CWEEL board member and I chair the US membership committee. And with me is Deb Lenny. And Deb, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. I am the chapter liaison committee chair for CWEEL. I currently work at NRG. And just really happy to be here to talk to the chapter presidents about, why your chapter shouldn't get involved with CWEEL. So thanks for having us.
Thanks, Deb. And I didn't say what I do when I'm not working on CWEEL, which is to pay the bills. I am a deputy director at a Boston-based nonprofit called Branding Green Space, which also works to diversify the clean energy sector. So CWEEL, for those that aren't familiar, CWEEL stands for Council on Women in Energy and Environmental Leadership. CWEEL is a division of the Association of Energy Engineers, and the overarching goal is to support, foster women in energy and environmental professions and studies. We have 4 pillars to support our mission. which is professional development, mentoring, networking, and scholarship. And we have a board of 12 now, which is filled with passionate women who are all here to see the gap between men and women, seniority narrow within the energy and environmental fields, and committed to creating benefits through CWEEL that address those disparities through our 4 pillars. And you can learn more on our website, cweel.org. And we will send out this presentation following this webinar with some other supporting documentation if you don't feel like you need to read every word on this. So it's not just CWEEL that's working on working toward equality in within the energy sector. AEE's leadership is also just as committed as CWEEL to work towards equality in their certifications and their speakers and leadership. As an example of this, both AEE and CWEEL recently joined a global campaign called the Equal by 30 campaign. So in doing so, both AEE and CWEEL are making a commitment to work together toward equality in pay, leadership, representation, and opportunity for women in energy and the environment. So a little bit of an overview on CWEEL member benefits. CWEEL is an add-on to the AEE membership. Anyone can be a CWEEL membership, everyone can be a CWEEL member. You don't have to identify as a woman. You don't have to be an engineer to be a CWEEL member, but you do need to be an AEE member. The benefits that CWEEL provides beyond AEE membership, communication, training, mentoring, recognition, opportunities. These members receive our newsletter, have access to the CWEEL website, our social media training. We promote continuous education as a complement to the training provided by AEE. We have a very strong mentoring program that's chaired by our mentoring committee board chair to provide additional support and ensure the success of our mentor and mentee pair. So I'm going to pitch this right now. If you know anyone that would like to be a mentor for our CWEEL program, please let us know. We're always looking for mentors. Recognition is one of the most significant benefits of being a CWEEL member, because as women work toward advancing within their careers, building a personal brand, as some people like to say, CWEEL plays a really important role in providing opportunities for personal branding, for awards, for scholarship, and for promotion. The stuff that looks really good on your resume, basically. And finally, CWEEL is a great opportunity for members to get engaged in communities and eventually on the board. The story that I always like to tell is that as I was starting to get more involved with CWEEL a couple of years ago, I really wanted to join one of the committees. And at the end of this presentation, I'll pull up a slide that shows the dozen committees that we have. And they all sounded interesting to me. I read through the committees. There's professional development committee, mentorship committee, marketing committee. I chose to join the fundraising committee. At the time, I was working for a for-profit, and fundraising is not something I had any experience in. For that reason, I wanted to try it out and see what it's all about. And the chair of the fundraising committee let me join her fundraising committee, having zero experience in fundraising. And I spent a year on the fundraising committee, learned an enormous amount. And now in my current job at a nonprofit, I head our fundraising efforts. So CWEEL gave me an opportunity to play in a sandbox that I didn't have access to at my last job, and learn the skills around something that turns out is very interesting to me. And I really value that opportunity to get trained in something that I didn't have an opportunity to get trained in at my day job. So for the CWEEL members that want to get more involved in CWEEL, like I did a few years ago by joining the fundraising committee, CWEEL groups were created to get more women on track to positions in the boardroom and on the AEE chapter boards, and AEE national in general. AEE is a global organization split up into boards, regions, chapters. The CWEEL groups live under the AEE chapter. So each AEE chapter can have a CWEEL group. And each of those CWEEL groups have a lead and a liaison. Those CWEEL groups can have events separate from CWEEL National. They can have events separate from the AE chapter, but some of our CWEEL groups choose to have joint events with their AE chapters. So there's a lot of flexibility within the CWEEL groups to create a community of local women based on their own interests and needs. And the groups really have a variety of structures across the nation and across the world. And that flexibility is pretty important, but they are attached to a chapter and get support from their chapter, which is why we're here today talking to the chapter officers. So current representation in North America, in the United States and Canada, there are 12 active CWEEL groups, a few more in the making. And there are 24 regions with CWEEL liaisons, a total of 35 liaisons. And Deb, I think that this was a slide that you were going to talk about as well as the previous slide. And I'm sorry about that because we had a plan for this and I did not stick to that plan.
It's okay, Hadassah. You're so excited. I love it. Just do me a favor. Just go back to the previous slide.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I will do that.
one of the things that I always like to cover when I talk to the chapters is why get involved with CWEEL. You know, CWEEL for you in your chapters will drive membership. Okay, so that's the foremost, I would say, why you should get involved with CWEEL in your local chapters is we will help you drive membership. We will also help you drive diversity in your chapters. And I've been involved in CWEEL and AEE my entire career. CWEEL more significantly back in 2017. The genesis of the CWEEL group came about because there were women in local chapters that wanted to have events. And so CWEEL was help organizing events like New York City and New England as two examples. So Lori Wiegand Jackson, myself, and the board came up with an idea of, well, let's form a CWEEL group within the chapter. And that really took off. And then that evolved into how do we help the chapters be connected to CWEEL? And we created something called a chapter liaison. And then we created a role on the local chapter board called a CWEEL lead. And the CWEEL liaison and lead, their function, like Hadass mentioned, is to create a group and help you all bring in more women and diversity within the chapters, help fundraise, help, like I said, membership. I mean, that's the drive. And it really came about because of the need. So it's like, I just want to make sure that you all hear that. It wasn't like we had this great idea. It came up because of the need within the chapters. And Hadass and I will talk a little bit about the difference between the liaison and the lead in the next couple slides. But I thought it was really important to really call out like why the CWEEL groups came about, why these positions came about, and why it's important for all of you to have these types of groups, lead and liaison in your local chapters. And we are here to help. You're not doing it on your own. We have a lot of experienced women and men in our committees that can help you get this launched for your chapters. So Hadass, I think now we can jump to the next slide. Just to kind of give you like a breadth of the, how many groups, how many chapter liaisons we have and the number of groups. So the representation across North America and Canada, it's always evolving. You know, I would say that when I first started developing the chapter liaison committee, we were a committee of like 2 women, and we've, grown to 35 CWEEL chapter liaisons across the US and Canada. And it's really a forum for the folks within the chapters to really understand what is going on with CWEEL and then bring all those advantages and programs to your local chapter members so they can take advantage of mentor programs, etc. But this is a constantly evolving list depending on what's happening within the local chapters and the women and men in the committee and things that are going on in their personal lives as well. Hadass, next slide. Thanks. So again, there's two main roles. There's the liaison and there's the lead. Okay, and they really do have two very different functions. The chapter liaison is someone within the chapter, your local chapter, that would help coordinate communication between what CWEEL is doing and what's happening in the chapter. We provide support, and that liaison will provide support for the chapter, and they work with the committee, my committee, every month to help give women and men a more prominent voice in the industry. We have a chapter liaison committee meeting every month, and we do that on purpose. We ask that the liaisons come to the meeting. We give a report out on everything that the CWEEL board is doing, and I actually give the chapter liaisons a written write-up, if you will, to really provide the local chapters with information on what's going on. So really all they have to do is show up to the meeting every month. I give them the talking points, and the ask of the chapter presidents is to give your liaison time during your monthly chapter meetings to really promote what CWEEL is doing and help your members take advantage of the programs that CWEEL has to offer. You know, so our ask is that the liaisons meet at least once a quarter with a committee. Even if they can't meet, I make sure that I'm available to them. They have the talking points. They can always reach out to me and ask me any questions. But, you know, the liaison is that communication person to fill the gap between what CWEEL is doing and what the local chapters are doing. And then lastly, I'll say that, you know, it has really become a best practice share, because we've seen like the New York City group evolve, we've seen the New England group evolve, and we share what's going on to help each other out within the groups as well. So it's not only been helpful for the chapters, but also for the groups, the CWEEL groups currently right now. And then Hadass, I think you want to take the lead. The next slide.
Thanks, Deb. I think we're back on track now. So the CWEEL chapter lead works hand in hand with the liaison. They really do work together to make the group successful. And similar to the liaison, the CWEEL lead is someone who is active within the energy field and passionate about inspiring women to grow and network, particularly within the AE region. The difference is that the lead is directly responsible for standing up, establishing and growing the CWEEL group, and welcoming and orienting new CWEEL members within the AE chapter region as they join CWEEL. The lead, so sometimes the liaison comes first, sometimes the lead comes first. If the lead comes first, the first responsibility for the lead is identifying a liaison. And one of the other main differences is that the CWEEL lead holds a position on the local AE chapter board, usually a CWEEL officer position. And similar to the liaison committee, the membership committee, which is a group of the leads, meets monthly, also to share best practices, bounce ideas off of each other for potential events, and also ideas to engage their local CWEEL members. Like Deb said, so I'm in New England, and the New England CWEEL group started 2-3 months after the New York City group launched, and it was really helpful to be able to follow in their footsteps, at least for the first few months, and have that template. And as new groups are started, we really have a good base of CWEEL groups that can support those new groups as they get established and start to create their own dynamics and their own activities. So hopefully everyone here is incredibly excited to help establish an AE presence within your regions if you don't already have one. So what are the next steps that you need to take? It would be to identify a CWEEL liaison if you don't already have one. As we saw in the map before, there are already 25 regions that have liaisons. So reach out to me or Deb. We'll let you know if there already is a liaison in your region, or similarly, if there is a lead in your region. And if not, look around your chapter, look around your network, find that person who is really excited about energy and supporting women. If you're not seeing anyone, reach out to me, reach out to Deb. Guarantee we know someone in your region who might be interested in doing that, or who knows someone that does it. So we don't want identifying a leader or liaison to be a barrier to establishing a CWEEL presence. And the last step would be amending your local AEE chapter bylaws. There is a recommended amendment language that was approved by both AEE and CWEEL to create the CWEEL lead board member and the development of the CWEEL group at the local level. And we'll send that out following this presentation as well. Other opportunities to get more involved, as I mentioned, there's a lot of different committees, about a dozen committees, most of which are looking for additional members. The committees, for the most part, meet monthly. You can see the list here. I won't run down through them, but there are a lot of different opportunities to get involved, apply your skills, develop new skills. So we will hand it over to the group for questions.
Before we get into questions, let's move over to Mel, and then we'll answer all the questions at the end. That's
Sounds
fine.
good.
Not a problem. Mel?
Yeah, that sounds good. Thanks, Hadass and Deb. I'm excited to see everyone here today. I am here to kind of speak to membership recruitment and other resources that you guys can use. And first, I want to start off with a quick poll. And the question is, are you aware that AEE has created this SharePoint resource site? Can't wait to see. So I see some yeses, definitely some no's. So AEE, I will show you this resource site today, but we have this resource made for you to help with all of the tasks that may take more time away from actually hosting your meetings and other things. So you can see there were 7 people that said yes, and 20 people that either did not know or now know that I've shared it. So I am definitely happy to show you what we are able to offer as far as a resource. And then at the end of this, I'll poll you to see what exactly is the most useful resource for you and see what we can add to help further that. So we have this resource site. It is available to all chapter officers. So it is not available to just a regular chapter member. We like to keep these resources exclusive to you so that you can help with scheduling your meetings, offering attendance resources, and things like that. So I'll go over very quickly what this looks like. And then at the end, you can ask me questions, or we can dive into specifics over email if it comes down to it. So we have this homepage. And as you can see, you can scroll down and we have a few different resource types. So we have a chapter speaker list, and you can see down here frequent documents that are available. What I'd like to do is go to this documents tab and show you the breakdown. So right here, you'll see chapter attendance certificates. So say you're hosting a technical meeting and a lot of your chapter members are certified and they want to use this opportunity to gain credits that they can submit for their recertification if it's up for renewal. So what we've made is, for everyone that we have a chapter logo for, there's actually a certificate in here that you can look at, and it'll show you, you can add the information on who the speaker was, who the attendee is, what the training program was, and then what hours that looked like. So say you hosted like a 1-hour technical meeting, that would be 1 professional development hour, and that would be 0.2 AE credits. So in a different format, since it's in the browser, the background won't show up here, but there's actually a background there. And it shows, like, it has the AE emblem and everything. So it's a great resource, a huge driving factor for you to get more chapter members to come to your meetings is to host a technical session, similar to how we host our member webinars. We also have your chapter logos under here, and they're organized by region. So if you are ready to make a document, say a newsletter, you're updating your website with a logo, all of the resources are there. We also have a chapter map available. So if you want to add that to a newsletter and say, maybe someone's moving or you want to share a partner chapter that you're working with around your area, we have a chapter map with a graphic ready. We also have our chapter website template, which I'm sure many of you have heard about. Maybe not if you're newer to the chapter officer positions, but it's a great resource. If you don't yet have a website, we have a template for you to use. You can personalize it to your chapter, but it has done very well for the chapters that have implemented it already. In here are some older email templates that we can definitely update. We had a previous email template and we have a certification template in there. So if you're inviting maybe a chapter member to participate in a certification program, it's an HTML template. So if you're not familiar with maybe the marketing terms there, it's if you have an email campaign manager, you can use just the HTML code and it will appear in everyone's emails as a graphic, and you can personalize that to be specific to your chapter as well. We also have different new member recruitment resources. You can see here we have the chapter coupon code. So if you want to print some of these out and write your chapter on it or edit it virtually and add your chapter name, you can print them and then give them out at chapter meetings so people can join with that coupon code without it just being a verbal sharing. And then we also have another template in here. So anyone interested in asking their boss or manager to sponsor their AE membership, it's a letter that is a template inviting them to say, here are the benefits that I'm looking to receive from this membership. It would benefit me in our work environment in these ways. Would you please sponsor me? So it breaks it down, very easy to implement into, all you have to do is add the benefits that are applicable to you. And then it becomes a very useful resource to help with recruitment. We also have a PowerPoint template and some social media resources. So we know we've seen quite a few chapters start their own social media pages, which is great. And I think it's a wonderful way to get your meetings and other things out there, and especially raise awareness for what you're doing on the local level. So what we've done is we have a few different graphics on here. We organize them based on topics, so maybe like a general membership ad. And then what that looks like is we have an actual image, and then we have a text file where we have suggested captions. So if you're worried about making a social media page and then maybe not having enough time to keep up with that, we're here to help. Let us know that that's a resource you're looking for, and we can help create more options or guide you on different topics that we've seen that are popular. And as always, reach out to other chapters that you see having social media pages that you like their posts. Maybe there are a lot of student chapters out there that are really, really good at creating graphics through maybe Canva or other resources. So it's a great time to reach out to them and say, hey, how did you think of this? What are you using to make it? And then you can kind of take that and adapt it to best fit in with your chapter goals. So to end that, I would love to do our second poll and ask you what resources that we offer are the most useful to you in your chapter.
Also, Mel, someone had a question there about providing a link.
Yes. So if you do not have access to SharePoint yet, you can email me. My email, I put it in the chat. It's mel@aeecenter.org. Just send me an email and I can give you access. And then if the link isn't working. All right, let's share. So we had about half say webinars. Well, 14 people said webinars, and then definitely the chapter speaker list as well. It's good to know that the certificates are useful, and social media too. So it seems like it's pretty even across the board, but definitely let us know. We'll be developing more resources as time goes on, but if you have something specific in mind that maybe you're looking to adapt sooner rather than later, reach out to Lizbeth or myself, and we'll see what we can do to make that happen for you, because we're here to help you at the end of the day. So what we need is just for you to let us know what that is that we can do to help. So thanks for letting me share, and good to see you.
Okay, thanks to everyone for some great presentations. To Hadass and Deb on AEE, on CWEEL, AEE CWEEL program, and also to Mel on the SharePoint. A lot of good information out there. I've got a couple of questions that I'd like to ask to our CWEEL friends here who are online. I'm not sure which one to direct the question to, so I'll just put it out there and you ladies can decide. Mentors. I've heard several things about mentors in the past, and I'm wondering, are there any specific qualifications for mentors, or maybe an example of a mentor? What can you ladies in CWEEL tell us about mentors?
I'll start by saying that anyone can be a mentor. Even if you're only 5-7 years into your career, the experience that you've had can be incredibly valuable to people that are just coming out of college. And our mentorship committee will match the mentors and the mentees based on their sectors, their interests, and the goals for the mentorship program. So in terms of mentors, I think a lot of people don't consider themselves as mentor quality, and we really want to encourage, we want to flip that and encourage people to think of themselves as mentors if they even have a few years of experience, obviously through senior level leadership. Our mentorship program is flexible, so the mentors work with their mentees to come up with a structure that works for them. Some of them meet monthly or more, some of them meet quarterly. So there is a lot of flexibility, but the mentorship committee does provide a lot of support to make sure that those parents are successful. And I'll hand it over to Deb if you want to add to that.
Yeah, just to build on what Hadass said, two things. We do have a mentor and a mentee application that helps us ask some key questions so that we can pair folks up together based on need. Right, Hadass's point is a great one. I've had mentors just to learn Zoom better, the SharePoint site, sharing documents, presentations, different techniques to do presentations, even to use social media, right? The younger generation coming out of college, I've learned so much from them, just how to do presentations, different techniques for presentations. So we're not discriminatory in the mentors. So if you have a specific skill in a certain industry even, and matching that with the need of the actual mentees. And on the CWEEL website, we have the links for the mentor and mentee applications, Bob.
Thank you both.
I'll add one more thing. I just dropped the link in the chat, but you can be a mentor and a mentee at the same time. You don't have to choose one or the other.
Okay. And on the chat, it has been posted. The mentor mentee sign up website has just been posted. So there's the information. Thank you both for that. I appreciate it. Mel, I've got a question that's come up for you here, it looks like, and it says, membership, is there an update on the status of the AEE membership list management system and up-to-date chapter membership data? I think they're looking for the list of memberships on that. Is that included in the SharePoint somewhere?
Good question. So your mail lists are not included on the SharePoint site because those are chapter specific and we don't have privacy settings for different chapters there, but you can absolutely email us and we'll send you your chapter list. You can email either Lizbeth or myself and we'll get it to the right person to get back to you.
Okay.
put the SharePoint link in the chat. So if you have access, you can click the link and it'll take you there. If you don't yet have access because you're a new chapter officer, you can go to the link and then it'll let you request access. And that's where I come in, and then I can grant you that later.
Very good. Thank you very much. Back to CWEEL. One of the, it's not so much a question here, it's just a note. One of the neat things that I've always enjoyed at the at AEE World now, as we call it, is the CWEEL breakfast. And that is a great and a wonderful opportunity to participate in if you're physically at AEE World this year in Atlanta. Deb, you want to plug the AEE, the CWEEL breakfast? Say anything about it specifically, or Hadass?
We lost Deb for a minute. But yes, Bob, thank you for bringing that up, because that's actually how I initially was inspired to get more involved in CWEEL. It's so inspiring. The speakers are amazing. The networking is amazing. And we've started to have a separate CWEEL networking session at the AE conferences as well. I don't know the status of that. Maybe someone from AE can provide an update, but yes, absolutely. There's a CWEEL breakfast with a great keynote speaker at every event, and other opportunities for CWEEL members to network at the AE conferences.
Okay, good deal. I've attended it several times and it's really great. Plus the food's good too.
I see Lori Beth just joined. Do you have more information about the networking event?
Yeah, so I'm Lori Beth, I'm the CWEEL liaison, and just to let you know, when you're registering for World, you can register for both the CWEEL breakfast and the reception. There is a price extra if you are not a CWEEL member for the reception, but the breakfast is free for all. So make sure to join us, because the speaker is always fantastic, and you can learn some more about CWEEL and also join to get a discount on that CWEEL reception pricing. So that's that.
Thanks, Laura Beth. I appreciate you coming on and mentioning that. One more CWEEL question that I've got here. We've got a worldwide webinar going on here. We got people from South Africa, India, all over the world here, not just all over the continent. What about CWEEL overseas, outside of the US? We mentioned some in Canada, but what about past Canada? What's the status? What's going on there?
Yeah, great question, Bob. There are CWEEL groups outside of the United States and Canada. I think the count is around 10 and growing. And that is one of my favorite things about being part of AE and CWEEL, is that it is an international community. Energy issues are different in other parts of the world, you know, global north, global south. Women's issues are different in different parts of the world. You know, one day I'm talking to someone in Connecticut, and next day I'm talking to someone in Ghana. So yes, there are groups, and there is a membership committee chair for the international groups. We have it split a little bit that way, but we do coordinate on some of our activities.
Great. Well, we're about to wrap up our session today. Several questions have come up on the chat and they've been answered. Some of them are just answered by people already online. So I think we've gone over all of the questions that have come up. We appreciate everyone joining us today. We especially appreciate Laura Beth and Hadass, Deb, Mel, for presenting today and helping us out with information. Very good information. Strong group. We had 38 people join us today, which is a good group from around the world. And we've answered all of the questions that have come up. So join us next time. I'm sure that Elizabeth will be sending you out another wonderful email, letting you know what's happening and when to log in and join us. But for today, this concludes our webinar. Thank you all again for joining. Goodbye.
Thank you.